Hello everyone, and welcome to Healing 101. I'm always super excited each and every day to come to you Monday through Friday live at 5. For those of you all who don't know, Healing 101, it is a platform, Tianve, where we come together, and the whole premise of us coming together is just to heal together live. So many of us suffer, Tasha, so many of us, we have our private moments and where we struggle to try to overcome some of the things of the past, but I'm so thankful that I'm able to offer my services to you guys to say, look, let's all heal together. As a clinician, as a mother, a wife, a daughter, a sister, a friend, I need healing myself. And I always say that, healer first, heal thyself. We cannot pour from an empty cup. So many times in our lives, Tasha, we want to be amazing women. We want to be phenomenal women. We want to be great mothers and grandmothers. We want to be just amazing individuals, and we just want to show up well in the earth. And a lot of times when we do that, we put ourselves last. A lot of times when we do that, we don't make ourselves a priority. And that's why I'm super excited that we're talking about the topic, the keys to self-love. I'm really excited about it because I know that even as a clinician, I didn't understand that I needed to love myself. I didn't even know that I didn't love myself. I just thought because I love my family and my friends and my community, I love my church, I love my neighbors, that I was just a good person, Mom. That's what I just thought. But then I kind of discovered that I had to fall in love with me. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're still on the topic of keys to self-love. And the topic today is, what are you afraid of? We talked about, being careful how we speak to ourselves. We talked about being careful how we characterize ourselves. And so my question for you today is, what are you afraid of? Like, what is it about this self-love, self-care, self-healing journey that you're not willing to dive in? Because let me tell you the truth. You're greater than you know. You're braver than you know. You're smarter than you think of yourself. And you're way more beautiful than you will ever understand. And so, what are you afraid of? Most people don't embark upon this journey because they think less of themselves, and they kind of feel like because they think less of themselves, they think that they're not going to come out well on the other end. But I'm kind of here today to dispel the myth, to say that you're greater than you know. And unless you have the ability, the desire, the willingness to just pull aside and to develop that self-knowledge, right? To get to know yourself, Pam, to get to love yourself, to get to just fall in love with all the parts of you, all of your strengths, all of your weaknesses. And guess what? Sometimes there are just some opportunities in our life that we can grow. Why do we call an opportunity a weakness? If you need to increase your knowledge of nutrition and fitness, that's not a weakness. That's an opportunity. If you're not as great at some skill or some ability, that's not a weakness. That's an opportunity. So a lot of times we categorize ourselves so harshly. A lot of times we judge ourselves so harshly. But today, the question is, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid that when you go in your quiet place that, the black night of the soul, the dark night of the soul is going to come out? Are you afraid of uncovering all the skeletons in your closet? Are you afraid of visiting that little boy that lives inside of you, or that little girl that lives inside of you and quite didn't have just enough affection, maybe not enough attention, maybe not enough focus, maybe not enough love, and maybe you're just afraid that if you go and try to rescue that little girl, that it might be way more than you can handle. What are you afraid of? So I'm here to tell you today, Pam, I started the journey. I'm going to tell you the truth. It wasn't easy. I'm going to be more transparent. I lost some family who don't want to deal with me and my true and authentic self. I lost some friends. I lost some business partners. I did. But I want you to know I found me, and it was so worth it. I want you to know that I finally got to a place where I fell in love with myself. And if you are against my elevation, then I would rather know the truth, Pam, than to just keep you around just for the sake of keeping you around. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts like hell when your family sees you elevating. Your family sees you in a loving relationship and determines that they're going to break ties with you because you're finally happy. You're no longer the center of their attention. Like, you finally started focusing on yourself. So when people fall away because you're loving yourself, just please take it from me, they were never there in the first place. Because everybody that's meant to be there for you, they're going to be there for you. You're not going to have to force them. You're not going to have to beg them. You're not going to have to persuade or convince them. They're just going to be standing on the sidelines, sis, just clapping and praising you, just being excited for you, just celebrating with you. Why? Because they genuinely love and care for you. I think the reason why we are afraid to fall in love with ourselves, hey Scott, that's my brother, yes. Yes, I think the reason why we're so afraid to go through the dark night of the soul and fall in love with ourselves, you know why? Because we're going to find us. We're going to find us. We all express ourselves in different ways. We may, I don't want to cry. You know, my brother Scott, he's an amazing musician. When I say amazing, amazing, right? Maybe musicians, maybe they cry through singing or drumming or the guitar, I don't know. And maybe some people who work out, like, just let me run for 3 miles. I don't know how you're going to release yourself. But I know you need to. I know you can't escape it. And I know that you can't avoid it. But one thing that I do know, that on the other side of that journey of you finding yourself, of you falling in love with you, of you coming to the full knowledge of self-knowledge, which is priority as far as I'm concerned, that you're going to develop a backbone, you're going to develop a strength, you're going to develop a confidence like no other. And you're going to be like, wow, I never knew this person didn't have my back. I never knew this relative wasn't celebrating me. I'm like, I'm finally happy. If you tell someone, I'm finally happy, I finally found someone that I love, I'm finally in a good place, and they say, well, I don't want you in my life anymore because I'm priority, I don't care about your happiness, just take note of that. It's okay. Everybody can decide to do what they want to do, okay? I wanted to read this. Let's see. Scott says, we aren't the same people we were 20 years ago. You better believe it. So you better keep loving yourself as you grow. Accept who you are and who you've been and who you want to be. Oh my goodness, brother, that is so amazing. Just accept it. That's the most important part of this journey, Scott, is acceptance. That's where depression and anxiety comes from. Depression is worry over your past. Anxiety is worry over your future. By the time you guys are done with me, you guys will have a degree in counseling because you know all the terms. And when we don't accept adjusting my crown, where we are, and when we don't just become at peace with it, that's where the depression comes. Because we live our lives through the lens of what we want it to be. That's why we get depressed. Because we live our lives through the lens of what we want it to be rather than the truth of what it is. If you wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, fall in love with that person, you're the only one you've got. I know you want your nose different. Unless you're getting plastic surgery, get excited about it. I know most women want to be so curvy. If you're not small-waisted as you want to be, right? All of the features on a female body that you want. If you don't have it, accept yourself. Don't live this life wishing you look like her. You don't know if she's been raped, abused. You don't know if she's had multiple surgeries. You don't know if she has health problems. You don't know what she's dealing with. Don't ever, ever wish you had or you were someone else. Accept yourself. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of going into your meditation room and being quiet? Why are you afraid to journal? To uncover all the deep, dark secrets that you kept inside of you that's literally killing you. That's literally taking 10 years off of your life. That's causing disease in your body when disease is not at ease with life. That's where disease and illness comes from. I'm not at ease. So, since it's universe, one word, one connection, and my body is connected with me, since I'm not at ease with life, my heart is not at ease, so it's not going to beat right. Look for a murmur. My colon, my liver, and my lungs is not at ease. I'm going to have gut issues. My back is not at ease. I don't even have proper posture, which is confidence and self-esteem. Keyword being self. It's about you. So because I don't have that, I have to become one and have disease not being at ease, and I have to have back pain. Every single thing that happens in your physical body is a correlation of what's going on in your mind. Every single thing, from a headache to a migraine to high blood pressure to cancer to anemia to obesity, every single thing that is happening in your physical body is in direct connection with your your personal mindset. Yeah. Our biochemical responses are a result of our psychological responses. So if I were you, I would be proactive. And instead of running from myself, I would run to myself. I would run to myself. That's what happened with me. I decided that I was important. It took me a long time, but I had to figure it out. And I decided that, it was my happiness was my responsibility. It wasn't my parents. It wasn't my children's. It wasn't my ex-husband. It wasn't my current husband. My happiness was my responsibility. And ladies, can I tell y'all a little tip? Can you know, and tell me if this is true, Scott, if there's any guys on here. Do you know what's more sexier than a Coca-Cola shaped body? Do you know what's more sexier than a perfectly small-waisted woman? A confident woman. You know what's sexy? A woman who loves herself. You know what's sexy? A woman who believes in herself. You know what's attractive? A woman who is not moved by the opinions of others. You know what's attractive? A woman who accepts herself, that she doesn't need outside validation to feel good about herself. She's not waiting for you to tell her that the outfit is good. She's not waiting for you to tell her that the hairstyle is pretty. She's not waiting for you to tell her that her shoes are banging. She already walks like poetry in motion because she knows who she is. Do you know how attractive and sexy it is for someone to believe in themselves? To love themselves to the point where they don't require anything from you. Most men like to chase. As women, we give it up too easy, but most men, they like to chase. But do we give them anything to chase? We're trying to fit into the stereotypical woman that most men want. And they don't even want that deep down inside. Oh, I want a Barbie model on my arm. Listen, forget about all that. What are you afraid of? You focusing on your body? Good. Physical development is excellent. You focusing on your mind and your body and your soul, good. All of that is amazing. But what are you afraid of? Why haven't you given yourself the 5 minutes? Didn't I tell you if you don't have 5 minutes, you don't have a life, sis? They not listening, sis. I told them if you don't have 5 minutes, you don't have a life. And I still have my wonderful sisters and brothers of my Healing 101 tribe who have not taken the time to pull away. You deserve it. I'm a testimony. My mess became my message. My test became my testimony. So I want you guys to know that I went into my private place. And it wasn't pretty. But I realized I was needy. And I was emotional. And I was sensitive. I realized all of those things about myself. And so guess what I did? I made a decision, Tasha, I was going to change it. I made a decision I was going to get better, not bitter. And I worked on myself day by day. And I'm still working on myself today, sis. To this day, Mom, every day when I come to Healing 101, I'm literally healing live with you all. Yeah. I was a battered woman. Like, I'm literally healing live with you all. My husband came into my office today and I jumped. I still have reactions. But slowly but surely, my heart is healing. Because my heart was broken. Ooh, my heart was so broken. It's nothing more painful, than the pain you can feel from your child, your family. It's nothing more painful. I've never experienced anything more painful in my life. And I think it's because those outside of us, our neighbors, our co-workers, our friends, but your family kind of cut a little deeper, But the beautiful thing is that it makes you pay attention. You can't avoid it. You can't hide from it. It's not going to disappear. So it kind of forces you to deal with yourself. So in that regard, I love it. Because it shows me me. What are you afraid of? So I'm going to ask you guys the question today. Can you journal today? Can you pull away for 5 minutes and just start writing all the things you're afraid of? I don't care if your list starts with spiders. Y'all know I'm not talking about physical things. But I really don't care if your list starts with spiders, because at least you could start getting into the flow of being truthful and being honest. I'm afraid of spiders. I'm afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of my friends not loving me back. I'm afraid of my partner cheating on me. I'm afraid of not being accepted at work. I'm afraid of not getting a promotion. I'm afraid of being looked over. I'm afraid of being abandoned. I'm afraid of being rejected. And when you uncover all of those things, the next job is to dispel every last one of them one by one. So when you're afraid that you're not going to get the position, or you're afraid you're not going to get the promotion, do you know that to be true? Do you know that to be true? You don't. So let's dispel the myth. One by one. And then by the time you finish with the list, you're going to be laughing. I made my list. I burned it in my fireplace. And I said, I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not even afraid of dying. I feel at peace to go at any moment now or any moment in the future. I do believe that I have some great things to accomplish here on this earth, but I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. So one by one, I'm like, if I'm not afraid of death, then I can't be afraid of being in a car. I can't be afraid of being in a plane. I can't be afraid of anybody harming me. I used to be fearful of death, and I used to be fearful of violence. I'm not anymore. I'm not anymore. And the funny thing, now that I'm no longer fearful of it, I don't even attract it to myself. When I was fearful of it, it was always in my face. So you see how that works? Because we are fearful of something, we magnetize it to our lives and we actually attract it to us. And when we're no longer fearful of it, it's not even in our vortex. Write down if you're afraid of dogs. Like, what happened to you when you were a little girl? Did a dog frighten you? You're going to realize you can dispel every myth of fear, false evidence appearing real, and realize that you can go after your wildest dreams. that you can go after learning to love yourself and know yourself. You can give yourself a hug right now. It's so exciting that once you dispel all the myths of fear, you're like, there's nothing to fear. What am I afraid of? I can go for the promotion. I can go for the man. I can go for the house. I can go for the car. I can go for whatever I want. The business opportunity, the degree. Like, what am I afraid of? Am I afraid I'm going to fail? Okay, but is it true? Do you know that to be true? Every time you tell yourself you're afraid of something, ask yourself the question, do you know that to be true? Do you know if you go after this dream that you're going to fail? Do you know if you look for this promotion that you're going to fail? Do you know that to be true? And if you don't know that to be true, then that means that fear is false. And it's a falsehood. And it's fraud. And it's on false grounds. So why would we operate our life out of those beliefs? Out of those limiting, self-doubting beliefs? So again, the keys to self-love. What are you afraid of? Why won't you dive in? Why won't you wholeheartedly find out who you are? Wholeheartedly, you deserve that. You do. I do. I deserve to fall in love with me. I deserve to love myself. I deserve all of that. I do. Get excited. So guys, if you don't have 5 minutes, you don't have a life, pull away. Pull away, pull away. May God continue to shine his face upon you. May God be gracious to you and grant you peace. See, we forgive ourselves for believing that we should have done better when we didn't know how. And we also forgive others for the same. We are open and ready for things to start going our way. And we are asking to receive a message in this physical world today that is a reflection of that. We are open and ready to receive that message. It's already done. It's already done. We already have it. It's already ours. Guys, I love each and every one of you. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I want you to know the best is yet to come. This might feel a little awkward, Mom. It might feel a little different. Thank you for the love. But I promise you it's worth it. The peace, the calmness, the tranquility, the serenity that comes upon you when you rely solely on yourself. And all external components are that. Just stuff outside of you. But it's not you. You can't be touched. Have a beautiful day. I will see each and every one of you tomorrow, Monday through Friday,